What's up, Tribe family? I hope you're having a great Saturday. Today is day 6 of our quiet time reflection. Now, if you've been in the Word and you've been with our Tribe daily devotions, you know that this week is our very last week in Second Thessalonians. And so on Sunday, we're going to be starting Matthew, and we're going to be taking the time in the new Word and in the Bible and in a new segment. But before we be there on Sunday, we got to be in the Word today. So we're going to be finishing up Second Thessalonians. We're in chapter 3, verses 14 through 18. And this is what it says. If anyone does not obey what we say in this letter, which is Paul, right? Paul is asking them to do specific things, and then this is the result if they do not do these things. He says, if anyone does not obey what we say in this letter, take note of that person and have nothing to do with him, that he may be ashamed. Do not regard him as an enemy, but warn him as a brother. We're going to stop right there, because the first question literally asks us, how do we regard to a person as a brother instead of an enemy? Right? Because if you think about it, it literally says, take note of that person and have nothing to do with him, that he may be ashamed. To be honest, it might feel like you're treating that person as an enemy. So then you're saying, do not regard him as an enemy, but warn him as a brother. How does that make sense? Let's break that down. In verse 14, it says, if anyone does not obey what we say in this letter. What does Paul say in this letter? If you've been with us, chapter 3 basically talks about idleness. Not idleness of having an idol, I-D-O-L, but being an idleness as if you're being still and doing nothing. I-D-L-E-N-E-S-S. So idleness. A good example is that if you have a car, or for those people or parents who have a car, or ask your parent about a car when it's in idle mode, meaning this: whenever you turn on your car, the RPMs rev up about maybe above 2,000, maybe 3,000, depending on your car, and then at some point it warms up and it goes down. It goes down to like 1,500, maybe 1,000, maybe even below, depending on the car. That basically means your car is warmed up, it's ready to go. And it's sitting there in idleness. It's idling. I mean, it's not doing anything. The car is working, but it's not doing anything. It's waiting for you as the driver to get in, put it in reverse, or put it in drive and go. But it's not doing anything. It's on, but it's not doing anything. This is very similar to our lives today. The reason why is because some of us turn on our engine, which is our brain, our heart, right? We are in the Word, like we read the Bible, but then whenever we go out, we're kind of just a car just sitting there. We're not really doing anything active or proactive in the activity that we're being in the Word. So for example, I read the gospel, but then I have an opportunity to share the gospel. I don't do it. It's kind of like a car without a driver. Same thing here. So Paul is telling them, which is the people in Thessalonica, because the people in Thessalonica thought that Jesus was going to return in their time frame. So what was the result of the people? The people were like, okay, if Jesus is going to return, I'm not going to do anything, because what's the point of me doing something if Jesus is going to return and then we're going to go to heaven and we're chilling? So I'm not going to work. I'm not going to clean. I'm not going to help. I'm just going to do my own thing, relax, look at the skies, eat if I can, and do whatever. Just do anything besides work. Now, he also says that if you don't work, you don't eat. That's what Paul says. He also says that you have to pay for bread, because people back then were in this church or this area, they were doing stuff or trying to get stuff for themselves without paying or for not doing anything. That's laziness. It's like a car that's ready to drive, but you don't drive it. Same thing here. Paul is trying to help them to understand they need to do something, support themselves, support a family, right? Help other people, because helping other people can also have the opportunity to share the gospel. Exactly the reason why Paul is sending that letter, because then it says disregard them, have nothing to do with them, so they can be ashamed. It can help them start to think that maybe I'm doing something wrong. This is where you, or Paul, helping other people understand, this is where you warn them as a brother, meaning they say, hey, I love you. You're with Christ, but let me tell you something. If Christ is not returning today, you have a job today of supporting yourself, supporting other people, family, sharing the gospel. That is our duty. Matthew 28, make disciples of all nations. And so he's helping them understand, warning them as a brother and say, hey, you got to wake up. You got to start putting in the work. Not meaning that work gives you salvation, but work just in general so they can pay for food, they can live somewhere, and at the same time share the gospel. Do not be in idleness, like a car being in idle mode where it's on, but it's not doing anything. It's the same thing here. Then in verse 16 and through 18, it says, now may the Lord of peace himself give you and peace at all times in every way. The Lord be with you all. I, Paul, write this in greetings with my own hand. This is the sign of genuineness in every letter of mine. It is the way I write. The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you all. It's kind of cool how he says that, because a lot of people were trying to be, quote unquote, Paul, send letters in his signature, I guess, and then all of a sudden people realize, or they're doing things that are not actually the things that Paul's been writing. It's kind of, I don't know if people have done this before, but actually don't do this. But I remember whenever I was in middle school or even high school and I get a bad grade, I have to take it home. Even elementary school, I had to take it home, let my parents sign it because they see my bad grade, and then I have to bring it back. Or if I did something that was disrespectful or something against a teacher or whatever. And so sometimes me as a student, I know this was before I met Christ, I would try to write my parents' signature as if they quote unquote saw my bad grade and then not get punished, and then I just move on, right? That's not good, because me as a person, or me as a follower of Christ, I have to make sure that I do things in trustworthiness, in the things where I understand that I did wrong, but then at the same time learn from what I did wrong. So then it goes back to this, where a person, where you help and treat other people, regarding them as a brother, you have to sometimes look in their life and see their little bad grades or their things that are not good, and then you help them understand to become better. Which is so cool, in verse 16, he says, bring peace to everyone. So that brings peace to them because they understand what they need to do better. Not criticizing what they do wrong, but doing better. So what are some things in your life that you need to do better? What are some things in your life that you need peace on? What are some things in your life that you're being in idle, meaning you're in idle mode? You're not really doing anything. You're on, but you're not doing anything. So pray about it. Spend some time in the Word with God. Read the Bible. Those questions will be answered and revealed to you, because the more you read, the more you understand. So I hope you have a great weekend. I'll see y'all Sunday and next time. Peace.